Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. I am really excited to go over this video with you guys. We are doing a full face today of all of the makeup that I packed with me in my travel bag. If you guys like the bag, I can link it below. It's from Lug. They have really great travel bags. They actually have a crossbody purse that I originally bought for a travel purse, but now it's just like my everyday purse. But it zips open, and then it's got these two clear pouches on each side, and it can fit a lot of stuff in here. And then after you've packed it, you can just zip it back up, and then it'll lay pretty flat in your luggage, so it's great for that kind of thing. And I packed a lot of stuff in here. Not my makeup brushes though, but we talk about that in this video because I am a forgetful person. So I actually bought this bag last summer for one of my girlfriends. So she loves it. She uses hers for skincare when she travels because she doesn't really take a lot of makeup with her when she goes places. But she does pack her skincare in here. So, you know, that's another option. So we went earlier this year to Florida, to Disney World, and it was not the first time we've been, and it's not the first time that we took our daughter with us, but it was the first time this year that we went. So I knew we went in February. I know it's like May now, but whatever. So we're going to go over all the products that I brought with me, and I kind of talk about why I brought them. Just for, you know, a little inspiration if you're headed down there, whether you're going down in the winter, the spring, the summer, the fall, whatever. These products should be good for any time of the year. So I'm really excited to get into it, and I guess it's time to get into it. Alright, so we are going to start with the eyes today, and mostly because that's how I do my makeup anyway, whether I'm doing it for the videos or going out or whatever. So I'm going to stick to my normal routine. However, I'm going to preface this by saying what I'm going to use in this video, I'm not telling you to go buy it. That's not what we're doing here. I like to show you how products work on actual human skin. And, you know, anything that doesn't have a filter, anything like that. So this is the Natasha Denona Glam Face and Eye Palette. It's very yucky from all my fingerprints, as you can see. This is a very well-loved product. It was actually in a Sephora sale video that I made, I think back in 2021. I don't know. It's been a while. This is a second one that I bought during that Sephora sale. Not during that one, but during a Sephora sale. Sorry. I am completely talking wrong today. So, I will tell you the reason why I took this is because it's got eyeshadows and it's got a cream blush and a highlighter. So, it eliminated the need for me to pack a bunch of different products, which was perfect for travel. Now, I kind of wish it had bronzer too, but that's neither here nor there. So, I'm going to show you the layout of the palette. I'm going to show it to you upside down because the mirror will reflect back from the lights and just completely blind you. So I don't want to do that. So this is the highlight. This is the cream blush. You can see it's very well loved in here. And then the layout of the eyeshadows are very similar to the actual Glam eyeshadow palette that Natasha put out. I think it was in like early of 2021. And I know like everybody loved it because not only is supposedly, I don't have it, so I'm just going off of what other people have said. Not only are the eyeshadows, like the formula of them, perfect, or really good, I should say, but they laid it out to where it's beginner friendly, which I thought was genius. So they took that concept and put it into this. So this lighter brown shade is your transition shade, and you can see like it's upside down, but it says transition. And then this is your crease shade, and then this you could use to like smoke out the eyeshadow look, or you could even use it as liner. And then there's two shimmery shadows in here. One is labeled inner corner, one is labeled outer corner. The inner corner one is more of like a champagne color, and the outer corner one is more of a rose gold color. So the way I used this, and I'll talk about it while I prime my eyes, I'm using the NARS Tinted Proof eyeshadow base in the shade Light. Just gonna swipe it on, and I'm gonna blend it out with my fingers just because I'm lazy. But I like this because what you can do is you can get the same look with mattes and then just change the look up with whatever shimmer shade you decide to use. So that's kind of what I did each day that we were there. I would set up the eyeshadow look the same way every day and then just change out my lid shade. And it worked out great because I didn't have to take a bunch of eyeshadow palettes with me. So I'm running the transition shade through my crease to start. I like to tap and blend. And it's a lighter shade than what we're going to lay on top of it. The camera's picking it up kind of dark, but that's not at all what it looks like. It's very, very light. Okay, so I have that all blended, and I did the other eye too. And now I'm just going to use the same brush, but I'm going to go into the slightly darker brown shade called Crease. Just going to pick a little bit up on our brush and then just lay it on top. And we're going to blend it into that transition shade. Okay, so we're all done with the crease shade. So now I'm going to use this little tiny rougher brush. And it's kind of like a fluffy crease brush, but it's a lot smaller. And it's really good for like hooded eyes, which I have. And I'm going to dip into the darker smoke shade. And we're just going to smoke out. See, it gets right up into that crease. And we're just going to drag it in like so. Alright, so we are done with that. Now it's time for the lid. And these aren't actually glitters, but they are a little chunky. Here's a swatch of them. Whoop, there it is. So the darker rose gold shade is outer corner, and the lighter, more champagne color is the inner corner. And I found that even though they're not actually glitters, sometimes you do get a little bit of fallout with them. So what I like to do to use them is put down like a glitter adhesive. So I just have this one that I've had for a while from Too Faced. It's just their glitter glue. NYX has a really good one too. Just really anything that is like a glitter shadow adhesive. Or you could forego it altogether. Completely up to you. And then I'm going to use the outer corner shade just all over my lid. You can see you already get a lot of shine off of it. Alright, so here's the finished eye with everything on. I really like how shiny they are and how pretty. And like I said earlier, you can easily change up the eye look with the lighter shade too if you wanted. So now we're going to zoom out and work on the face. Okay, so we went down to Florida in the wintertime, and it wasn't as humid as it would be in maybe like late spring, early summer, early fall even. I've been down there in early fall, and it's still like, an inferno. So even though it wasn't going to be during one of those times, I knew it was still going to be kind of hot, especially in the sun. And the Animal Kingdom park, which is one of my favorites, is there's very low periods of shade in that park. Like, there are areas where you can find it, but a lot of it is just strict sun. So I brought a gripping primer just because I wanted to make sure that my makeup was going to stick. So I brought my e.l.f. one, but any gripping primer would work. There's also one from Milk that I really love too. So I'm just going to put a little bit in my hand. It's got this like gel texture. And then I just like to spread it on my face. And get the forehead, just make sure you get everywhere, spread it around. You can certainly use a brush. Clearly I'm lazy. Oh, I also forgot my makeup brushes at home. That was fun. And then just pat it on. I had to run to Target and get some new ones. So actually, a couple of the brushes I have down here still are from that mishap. I'm trying to find one that I brought. Oh, here's one. This little e.l.f. eyeshadow brush. That's one that I bought because I needed makeup brushes. I left them in a separate bag from the little travel bag. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so for foundation, there's one foundation that I love to use. Mostly I use it in the summertime. So I live in Michigan. It's like Siberia 90% of the year, but it does get really hot and humid here in the summertime. So generally, foundations that I'll use in the summertime, sometimes they'll kind of pill. They'll just feel weird on my skin after a while. I have dry skin. It's more normal-ish in the summer. I guess you could say it's like less dry in the summer than it is in the winter. And I did turn 40 last year, so my skin is maturing. So I like to use this foundation. Mostly I'll use it only in the summer, but anytime we go to Florida, I do take it with me down there. And it is the It Cosmetics Oil-Free CC Cream. And I have mine in the shade Fair Light, which I want to talk about that for a second. It is the second fairest shade they have, and it's still too dark for my skin. The lightest shade that they have, especially in my winter skin, the lightest shade they have is too warm. Like right now in the monitor, it's not looking that bad, but trust me, it's bad. It's really dark. So yeah. So we're just going to blend that out. I don't know what it's looking like on your screen, but it's pretty dark. I usually lighten it with some foundation lightening drops. And I take it as far down my neck and my décolletage as I can. But I love this because, first off, you can see it completely covered my redness. I have red on my cheeks. It completely covered it. But it still looks like skin. It's not very, like, heavy on my skin. And you saw how fast it blended in. Plus, because it's an oil-free formula, it doesn't do any of that weird stuff that I mentioned earlier. It doesn't pill. It doesn't feel weird throughout the day. It actually lasts very well on my skin throughout the day. So I'm just going to keep blending this out, and then we'll come back and do concealer. Alright, so the foundation is blended. I would typically start with the concealer, but because we have the cream blush, let's do that first. So, going back into the Natasha Denona palette, I'm going to pick up a little bit of this cream blush. And start popping it on my cheeks. It's a very like neutral blush, which I love. It goes great with the neutral eye. Just have to warm it up a little bit. And the palette does have this little protective screen over it. There we go. Got a little color. Alright, now that the blush is on, it's so pretty, we can do concealer. And I took my Colourpop Pretty Fresh concealer. I like it a lot for covering what I want to cover. I just use a little bit on each side. But it also is it's a hydrating concealer. So it's good for my dry under eyes. And then I like to just blend it out with a brush, or you could use your fingers, and then just tap it on with, just make sure it's completely blended with my little sponge here. Okay, for setting powder, now that the concealer is all blended out on both sides, the only setting powder that I have found that actually works really well for my dry, maturing under eyes is another product that I'm not real happy with how much it costs, but it's the Pat McGrath Under Eye Blurring Powder. I didn't want to like this powder because of how expensive it is, but it's the only under eye powder that makes my under eyes and my concealer look really good. So I naturally have creases under my eye anyway, but this powder doesn't settle into them. It doesn't make my concealer look cakey. It actually makes it look really well, even through like an entire work day, which is why I took it and why I love it. Okay, so I finished with the under eye powder, and then I just added the eyeshadows to my lower lash line. And I just used the mattes in reverse order, so I combined the smoke and the crease together and then blended them out with the transition. And I am a very fortunate person, and my eyebrows always look like this. This is just how they are. So I don't need to do too much to them. So I just laid down a little brow gel on them just to kind of keep them where they are. And I took, and I use a lot, the Nudestix brow gel. So that's what I used while we were there. Before we continue, I just want to prep my lips really quick. This is the Buxom Plump Shot in clear. I like this because it moisturizes and it plumps my lips a little bit, but there isn't like a burning or a stinging to it. Now for bronzer, I did take my butter bronzer and we're going to use that today, but because I didn't bring the foundation lightening product to lighten out the shade of the foundation, I didn't really need to use bronzer because of the fact that the foundation is not my color, which I will admit, as much as I do really like this foundation, especially in the summertime, the shade range is not that great. Especially since I have the second fairest shade and it's still too dark. Like, that is insane. Okay. So we got a little bronzer on. And since I'm working from this palette still, we can just do a little bit of the highlight while we're here. Pop that on. It's very glowy. This is such a good travel palette. I will admit that. And honestly, I'm just going to put it this way. If you're in the market for it, it's not anything to be disappointed about. It's really, really awesome. Basically, if you drop the money for it, you won't be disappointed by your purchase. I'll just put it that way. All right. Okay, after I finished with the highlighter, I just curled my eyelashes and added a little mascara. I used the Maybelline Falsies Lash Lift mascara, and I really like this one. It doesn't smudge or flake or irritate my eyes or, you know, any other weird stuff that mascaras can do. And I think it makes my eyelashes look really well. I don't have a lot of length or volume to my natural lashes. I have very sparse lashes. And I really like the end effect of this one. So now that we're done with all of the face, basically, it is time for the lip products. And I took 2 of them with me just because I didn't know how I was going to feel, but they're both very affordable options. One is the Maybelline Superstay Vinyl Ink in the shade Peachy. And the other one is the Colourpop Fresh Kiss Glossy Lip Stain. This specific one is from the collab they did earlier this year with Disney, and It's a Small World. This one, it's more of a nude shade, and it's called 7 Seaways. And then this is just a peach glossy shade. So they're different products. Initially, they're the same product. They're both very glossy, so I'll swatch them for you. Ooh, that's looking very streaky for some reason. Okay, so that's the Colourpop. And then to use these, you're supposed to shake it for a few seconds. And then they actually look very similar. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Okay, so this one is the Colourpop. The lighter one is the Colourpop. And then the darker one, the more peach shade, is the Maybelline. So they're both starting off the same way. They're both very glossy. But over time, the Colourpop one, the gloss goes away, and it just leaves this like beautiful tint to your lips, almost like the popsicle lip trend. And then this one, the gloss will go away, but it'll still just kind of leave a peach shade. It's not really a stain. It's more of a like shade. And then you can just kind of add lip balm if you need to throughout the day. So a lot of times I did use the glossy lip stain, but I would throw the Maybelline in my park bag and just go that way. I think I'm going to use the Maybelline one today, just because in my everyday life I'm always using these glossy lip stains. Now this was part of a collab, and it came in a 4-pack, the Colourpop glossy lip stain. And I think that 4-pack is gone now. However, they do have a line of more permanent shades in the glossy lip stain. So if the It's a Small World ones are gone, they do have other options. So you can see right away it's very glossy, which eliminates the need for like a lip gloss. And then it'll dry down and it'll just like leave you with a very peachy lip color, which I love. Alright, so that does it for the full face of makeup that was in my travel bag. Let me know down below if you like any of these products, or better yet, if you're taking a travel trip soon, tell me where you're going. I love to travel, always looking for new places to go. We keep going back to Florida for some reason. The reason is my 5-year-old. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!